Today I'm going to teach you about reference angles. A reference angle is an acute angle between the x-axis and the terminal side. An acute angle, remember, is one that is between 0 and 90 degrees. It's also interesting to note that a reference angle is always positive. Here's an example of a reference angle. If your given angle is 205 degrees, then the terminal side lies in quadrant 3. And that makes a 25-degree angle to the x-axis. It's just like when we drew our triangles to the x-axis. We were actually drawing the reference angle each time. And a quick way to find it, for this one, you would just say, okay, 205 is close to the 180 side of the x-axis. So you would do 205, take away 180. And that would be 25. Just to recall, the terminal side is the ending side of the angle. There's an angle in a positive rotation, there's the terminal side. A negative rotation, the terminal side can fall in any quadrant. Here's another example. For a 150-degree angle in standard position, the terminal side falls there. And the acute angle it makes to the x-axis is 30 degrees because it's close to the 180 side of the x-axis. 180 minus 150 is 30 degrees. Here's an example of a negative angle. Negative 110 rotates this direction past negative 90 degrees into quadrant 3. And if you drew your triangle perpendicular to the x-axis, it would go there. So that's your reference angle. And that's close to the 180 side. Again, just ignore the signs. Your angle was 110, do 180, subtract 110, and that gives you 70. Now it's not always 180. Don't just doze off and not listen to the rest of the examples. Here's a unique one that people miss, but it's actually the easiest one. If an angle is already had in quadrant 1, the terminal side is in quadrant 1, then you wouldn't draw your triangle over here to the 180 side. You would drop it right down to the x-axis. So your reference angle is the same as the angle itself, 38 degrees. So 38 degrees angle, anything in quadrant 1, its reference angle is the same thing. Here's another example for 200 degrees or negative 200. 200. The reference angle is 20 degrees. You could do 200 minus 180 is 20. Here's another one, negative 200. 200 minus 180 is still 20 degrees. Notice the reference angle is positive either way. Reference angle is always a positive number. This is an example of angles in radian measure for angles pi sixth, 5 pi 6, or 7 pi 6. Any of these is still the same principle. Pi 6 is actually 30 degrees. And its reference angle, if you drew your right triangle, would be there. The reference angle would also be 30 degrees. 5 pi 6 is 150 degrees. But its triangle would be drawn the exact same way. So it would have the same exact reference angle, 30 degrees. 210, which is at 7 pi 6, 210 degrees. That triangle would be drawn to the x-axis, and its reference angle would also be 30 degrees. For 11 pi 6, 11 pi 6, that's 330 degrees. Its reference angle is also 30 degrees. So all of those have the same positive 30-degree reference angle. This is an example of one that is more than 360 degrees. And just like graphing at 405 degrees, to be able to figure out which quadrant it fell in, you would have to subtract 360 to find out how much more. So let's check that out. 405 minus 360 gives you 45 degrees. So that means it goes all the way around. plus 45 more. So the terminal side falls in the same place as 45 degrees. And if you draw its reference angle, its right triangle, that would be a 45-degree reference angle. I'm going to pause for a minute and let you try this one. Did you get 20 degrees? I hope so. If you were to draw a reference angle, a triangle, to the x-axis, that would be to 180 degrees, and 180 minus 160 would be 20 degrees. I'm going to pause and let you try this one. Did you get 20 degrees? I hope so. Again, your reference angle would be the triangle drawn to the x-axis, and that's the 180 side of the x-axis. So the angle's 200, take away 180 is 20 degrees. That's an acute angle. I'm going to pause and let you try this one. Did you get 45 degrees? This triangle drawn to the x-axis would look like that. So that's the 360 side of the x-axis. 360 minus 315 is 45, which is an acute angle. Try this one. Did you get 45 degrees? If you missed it, did you subtract it from 360? And if you did not get an acute angle, so that should key you in that you did something wrong. This one, again, the triangle is drawn to the 180 side of the x-axis, so that makes 225 subtract 180, 45 degrees. Try this one. The answer is 60 degrees. 300-degree angle gets drawn to the x-axis on the right side. So you have to find the distance basically from 300 to 360, which is 60 degrees. Last one, you try this one. And the correct answer is 45. Draw your triangle to the x-axis, which is the 360 side of the x-axis. 360, take away 315 is 45. That is it.